When it comes to my inspirations, I'll let you know right now that I only have a few of them. The things that I will talk about in this video inspired me so much that it made me crave the things that I love doing today. The three things that I love doing today in particular is making music, or you can say beats in this case, making art or drawing cartoons, and video editing. I thought this topic would be fun to share with y'all, so without further ado, let's just jump right into it. When it comes to making music or making beats, I was highly inspired by a producer known on YouTube as DjFusion. It's actually a funny story how I found out about him and how I became a YouTube producer myself today. So I'll run a little backstory for you guys. If you don't know, I am a huge Dragon Ball fan, and I have been since I was a toddler. Most people point out that the reason why Dragon Ball is so iconic is because of their fight scenes, and while that is true to a certain extent, I thought Dragon Ball was very iconic to me because of their score numbers, or you can say the music in the background. Characters like Cell, Vegeta, and hell, even Ginyu had like some of the most like iconic theme songs entitled to their names in Dragon Ball Z. And as a guy who listened to a lot of hip hop, I always wondered what their theme song would sound like if it had a beat. And alas, I found DjFusion. Once I saw what his work was about, I fell in love with his content and then started to follow in his footsteps by remixing stuff that I also wondered what it would sound like if it had a beat. DjFusion also introduced me to other producers as well, some that I enjoy listening to or became very good friends with. If anyone asks me who got me started on making music or beats, I would always point to this guy right here. When it comes to drawing cartoons or making art in general, my main inspiration comes from the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series. I fell in love with Jeff Kinney's work from the very beginning. In fact, I'm such a big fan of the series that I almost have all the books stacked up in my closet, and I even wrote fan stories based on my doodle character. The Wimpy Kid series had such an influence on my life to the point that I started making my own comic book series, and to go even further, it also gave me the boost to further my education in graphic design. If it wasn't for the Wimpy Kid series, or you can say Jeff Kinney's work, I would have never thought about loving the hobby of drawing cartoons or loving art in general. And when it comes to video editing, I always point to Adult Swim as being my biggest inspiration. If I was to describe Adult Swim in one word, I would go with the word weird, and that is something that I always adored Adult Swim for. Aside from Toonami for obvious reasons, I love their bumpers as it is so basic, so mysterious, and so strange from the norm of any other network that I've ever seen. I like the mood that the network brings to its audience. Casuals would be very unsettled by watching Adult Swim for the first time, but for me, it gives me a very relaxing vibe, almost a feeling like you're not really caring much for anything. It feels like a dream that you don't want to end, basically enjoying the ride to the very end. And that's something that I want my content to be, very basic, very relaxing, and put people in a good mood. Some things that I find weird but enjoy as of recent are things like ASMR and basically the entire vaporwave community. If it wasn't for Adult Swim, I would have never enjoyed the very weird things that I do now. Thank you, Adult Swim, for making weird things seem natural to me.